Welcome back to the show. Today we're going to talk about something very important, and what it is, it's access to quality health care in the community. And I'm so honored to have Dr. Jackson Griggs here with us. He is the CEO of Waco Family Medicine. And it is a delight to have you here because it's been about 3 years, 4 years ish since we had a chance to sit and talk. And you were just in the process of raising money for the building, as I recall. So it's time to have you back.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me back in. It's such an honor to be on your show. Yeah.
Well, it was a delight for me to be at Waco Family Medicine the other night. It was a Waco Symphony Council event that you hosted so beautifully there in the building. It was our patron event. It wasn't really a dinner, but it was a gathering of what everybody just raved about how beautiful the locale was and how just it was just a friendly ambiance, and there was jazz combo playing, and there was classical musicians at another part playing, and we just had a delightful time. And I want to thank you for opening up your facility.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, having the symphony in our building and the donors of the symphony was just an honor, delight for us. In the collaboration with the symphony, we've had the immense privilege of having quartet representation from the symphony
Oh,
playing in our
Healing Harmony.
building,
I've
and
been
yeah,
there for that
it
too. That
and
was
just
so fun to watch the reaction
yeah,
of your patients and their families
that's it.
there.
I mean, the very first time they played, I had tears rolling down my face because it was just this
I know.
beautiful moment where patients were coming in and having the experience of live classical music in a place where they're coming for health and healing, and seeing those musicians share their art, and the beauty of the moment was, I think, just really breathtaking.
Yeah, and I think music does have the ability to
Hmm.
heal.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's literature out there that supports that. But
Okay,
yeah.
there you go. Um, well, for anyone who's not familiar with Waco Family Medicine, want to give us your elevator speech and the various names ahead of Waco Family Medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so Waco Family Medicine is a private nonprofit organization that has it's been in existence since 1970. It started as a residency training program and a clinic serving those who were experiencing poverty or who lacked insurance. Over the years, we've grown to serve now 75,000 individuals. That was in the last 12 months,
Oh my
almost
goodness.
300,000 visits. We focus on primary care, oral health, and mental health care. And 71% of that 75,000 are in McLennan County, where
Mhm.
the majority of our clinics are. But we serve one in four members of residents of Hill County came to see us last year. It's one in five in McLennan County. We have a clinic also in Bell County where we're growing. And I recently did a count, and there are 11 counties where we see at least 300 individuals. So really, the entire Central Texas area, where there's a lot of rural counties east and west of here, folks are coming in to see us across that entire area. Our focus is on caring for folks who have financial insecurity, so low income individuals. That's taking the federal poverty level and doubling it, and the population that falls below that number. That's who we're really trying to focus on. Although we do see individuals, across the economic spectrum. A little over two-thirds of those that we see fall below the federal poverty level. So the federal poverty level is 30,000 annual household income, 30,000 for a family of four.
Yeah.
And for an individual, that federal poverty level is set at $15,000 annual household income. So these are folks who are struggling just to put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. This is really profound poverty. So it ends up that we have working diligently to serve a population who has some of the greatest economic needs, social need, mental health burden, and chronic conditions that are all these things being uh, deeply intersecting and creating sometimes some downward cycles that are challenging for folks to escape.
Yeah. Because you've been with Waco Family Medicine for how long? Some time.
Let's see, since 2003, I came to
Uh,
train as a
oh my
resident. Yeah.
goodness! All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So as a doctor, what drew you to this kind of healthcare? Uh,
Well,
if I recall, you were going to be an English teacher or
yeah,
something.
yeah, that's you have a great memory. That was 3 years ago. That's fantastic. Yeah, yeah. So I studied English as an undergraduate, mostly interested in the human condition. What
Yeah.
makes people tick? What makes people suffer? What makes people thrive? And went to UT Houston Medical School after Abilene Christian, and kind of went into studying medicine with the same lens, really recognizing that there was more to what thriving is beyond just getting the biochemistry right or
Hmm.
getting organ function just right. We're human beings, which means that we're in relationship and that we're meaning making creatures, that we're affected by our emotions and our psychology. And of course, as science has matured, we've recognized that those factors matter deeply in terms of folks' actual biological health. So,
Yeah.
more trauma in childhood yields higher risk for lifetime cardiovascular and cancer related risk. There's
Hmm.
immune system realities that are tied in with emotional health and psychological health. So the way in which kind of the high modern age has parceled out our systems and treated those as siloed phenomenon is really less sophisticated in some ways than thinking about people as whole people who are a part of communities. Family medicine is the one specialty where a community is even in the name of the specialty. So
Yeah.
family medicine, recognizing that individuals don't suffer on islands, but they're a part of groups, and both the health of the group impacts the health of the individual, and the health or illness of the individual impacts the group. So understanding all of those dynamics became very, very interesting to me as a medical student, and so
Hmm.
was excited to choose family medicine as my specialty when I was in my 20s.
Yeah. So how has your work as a medical doctor now shaped your work as a CEO?
Oh, well, that's a
Yeah.
that's a fun question to consider. I I think one is that I think good leadership is grounded in understanding people.
Hmm.
You can't create a compelling vision. You can't care for staff. You can't really intersect in important ways in the community where a business exists if it's not grounded first in understanding and caring about people. So I think being a family doctor, you're constantly thinking about, the things that I was mentioning earlier about whole person health and thriving. And that's not all that different when you're thinking about your staff. Similarly, I think that, family medicine sort of eschews simplicity or oversimplifying reductionistic thinking. I mean, it
Hmm.
says, no, we're not going to think in a reductionistic way about this person's experience of illness, but we're going to appreciate the complexity here. We're going to stay humble. We're going to listen deeply to that person's values and their concerns and their physical experience, as opposed to, I think everybody's had that experience before where they've gone in to see a clinician and it's been, yeah, I know what's wrong with you. Let me talk down to you and tell you exactly what, but instead recognizing that a human being's experience of illness is always complex. And even if biomedically it's simple or pretty straightforward, still understanding how that process is affecting the individual and their family
And the family.
is a matter of complexity. So,
Sure.
so sort of not starting with that kind of hubris or extreme pride of I got this. I know what's the problem. Quick diagnosis and self-confident, sort of sometimes brazen, path forward. But in an organization, particularly an organization that is as deeply embedded in the community as Waco Family Medicine, recognizing the complexity and staying humble and being a learner, being able to adapt, as opposed to thinking about things too mechanistically, recognizing that this is a living thing in our community. All of those factors that I was steeped in medical school and residency, and then my years of academic family medicine and training, um, it feels like it pertains to the leadership role.
Hmm. You mentioned a diverse population that you serve. What are you seeing as the greatest needs that your patients and their
Mm.
families are experiencing?
Yeah. So earlier I mentioned mental health.
Hmm.
There's a bidirectional relationship with financial challenges and mental health conditions. So the one of the cardinal features of virtually every mental health condition is functional impairment. So that means relationships or capacity to complete education or to stay at a job are impacted or impaired when you have a mental health condition.
Hmm.
Um, so you can imagine if someone has a mental health condition, it increases the likelihood that they'll end up having challenges financially because they may lose a job, because for any number of reasons, whether it's mood or anxiety or any of the disorders that begin to impact a certain person's experience of reality. Um, the that then the challenges from that occur financially then create stress for that individual, which then worsens mental health conditions, which
Yeah,
then drive the functional impairment. So you see, we're in a negative cycle
a real
here,
cycle.
where mental health leads to financial challenges, and financial challenges leads to mental health challenges, and so there is a sort of a chicken egg reality. And I would say I'm using the term mental health. It's true of substance use disorder as
Hmm.
well. I think we're so quick to judge, and I say we meaning common culture is so quick to judge folks who struggle with addiction. When you've been in the exam room and heard people's stories, story after story after story of people who struggle with substance use disorder, you realize that there's some underlying major challenge or trauma
Trauma.
or
Yeah.
pain that is driving that compulsion. And of course, medicines that create dependency, it's all the worse. So I think that mental health is the issue right
Yeah.
now that's really risen. And I will say that the population that is seeing the greatest rise in prevalence of mental health conditions and substance use disorder is in children, adolescents, and young adults.
Children. Wow.
The reality is that back around 2011, we saw a change in the curve. We have seen a very gradual increase in adult behavioral health conditions. And when I use the term behavioral health, it's inclusive of mental health and substance use disorder. So I'll just use the term behavioral health to include both of those. We've seen a very gradual increase in the prevalence of behavioral health conditions among adults. In children, we've seen a really rapid growth of prevalence in behavioral health conditions. There is a sobering statistic that came out of a U.S. survey that's a broad survey that looked at high school girls, high school young women, and and it indicates that 1 in 3 high school girls has seriously contemplated suicide in the last 12 months. Isn't that just astounding?
Horrible.
It is horrible. And the prevalence of depressive disorders,
Hmm.
anxiety disorders has climbed dramatically since 2011.
Think these are
So yeah,
phones and the
phones play
social
a
media
yeah
and
phones play a role, but it's not. So some of it is the time spent engaging with social media, where you feel like, yeah, gosh, look at the standard that I have to meet as an
right,
individual.
right. I'm
Some of
not
it's
that
the
beautiful or
Yeah,
whatever. I
exactly
mean,
right. Some of it's the content on short videos that's algorithmically driven that
hmm
creates, pulls kids into thinking about, and I say kids, I should say children, adolescents,
it
young adults.
affects a lot of
But
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then finally, there's if you're spending 3 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours a day on a screen, there's opportunity costs. There's things that you're not doing
Yeah.
that are well known to be things that create resilience and things that create mental emotional health that are 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 not occurring that would otherwise be occurring before
yeah.
the phone. So it's the absence of those activities, socialization, physical activity, exploration, daydreaming, those activities that aren't occurring that are as deleterious or have as much negative impact as the actual content that are on the phone. So
I
both of
hadn't
those
really
things.
thought about it in that way, but that's absolutely right. They're
Yeah.
not spending that time. I was so glad that the state said no in schools.
Yeah,
They have to put those
absolutely.
phones away. So
Right.
that was huge.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think
huge.
there's value in
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So much more I want to talk to you about. We need to take a break. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to talk more about the residency program there at Waco Family Medicine. So much more. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
If your home's feeling a bit dated or you're dreaming of that beautiful outdoor oasis, I have got the team for you. Gather & Co., the family-owned remodeling pros right here in Greater Waco since 1998. Led by the Falconberry family, they specialize in stunning kitchen and bathroom makeovers. Think custom walk-in showers, sleek cabinetry, and aging-in-place upgrades for easy living. They also nail outdoor spaces with pergolas, patio covers, sunrooms, and screen rooms that turn your backyard into a year-round retreat. What sets them apart? Personalized designs, top-notch craftsmanship, and a hassle-free process for free in-home consultations to spot-on completion, plus financing options to make it simple. Customers love them, raving about the friendly crew and attention to every detail. Ready to gather in your dream home? Call Gather & Co. today, 254-759-1147 for a no-obligation quote. Visit GatherCoRemodeling.com. Your remodel starts here.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
And welcome back. I have Dr. Jackson Griggs here with us, who is the CEO of Waco Family Medicine. Just a fabulous, how do you describe how important that is for the community where it is there in North Waco, the exact location right there on Colcord, and to see this beautiful facility. When we first spoke on the podcast several years ago, you were still raising the money for it. It was like $61 million, something, a huge amount of money. And just your thoughts on how it's all happened, and the
Yeah.
generosity of the community and how much people are behind what you're doing there at Waco Family Medicine.
Well, Waco Family Medicine was born out of community need.
Yeah.
The conversation started in the 1960s when there was not a physician supply, particularly in primary care. So a lot of folks were ending up in the ER who just needed regular outpatient care,
Yeah.
preventive care, acute care for an array of conditions that can be managed outside of the emergency department. And we needed solutions. How are we going to keep our community healthy?
Yeah.
And how are we going to address chronic conditions? And physician community, business leaders, faith leaders, elected officials came together, and that was the birthplace of the residency program that ultimately evolved into what we have now. But it's always been of the community, by the community, for the community. So when, I mean, it felt like an audacious vision to build a $65 million central facility for Waco Family Medicine. It felt like the right time. This was, of course, before the pandemic hit. We would have
That's right.
changed
I know.
our timing if we knew that. But there were
Oh.
even some factors that that occurred during the pandemic that also impacted us in a beneficial way. So you can't you can't perfectly map out all of these things. There's certainly an element of faith in all of this. Uh, but the community showed up in such a profound way to support the mission. I think that there's a collective sense that the realities that we experience in Texas. I mean, we are the most uninsured state of the 50 states, and McLennan County is unusually uninsured in Texas. So we have of our working age population, 20.5% of our working age population is uninsured, which is about twice the national average. And of course, uninsurance is not just about cost of care to the individual. It predicts health-seeking behavior. So folks who are uninsured, they don't come in for care. They have shorter lives with more chronic conditions that they have to manage, and so less preventive care. Being in a community that has such low insurance creates a tremendously kind of problematic puzzle to solve. The generous, philanthropically hearted individuals said, we want to be a part of the solution, and they contributed to this magnificent building that both anchors the residency program for decades to come, and it creates a place where we can invite community members who are struggling to come in and feel the dignity and honor and belovedness that they all deserve, and to do so in a space that's really dedicated to whole person healthcare and healing.
Yeah, earlier this month I had the chance to sit down with Dr. Alex Jones-Adesina, who's on your staff, and Dr. Audrey Patterson, the nurse midwife, and we talked about birth and babies. We had the best time talking about the wonderful services you provide for families, for moms to be, and part of what we talked about was preventative care and health care that has to do with nutrition. And so tell me a little bit more about your kitchen you have there, and the classes that you have to help teach people how to take care of themselves before they get sick.
Yeah, absolutely. So the literature on non-medical drivers of adverse health outcomes, so those things that are out in the sort of the socioeconomic domain that drive sickness on one hand, or conversely health on the other, that literature has been known for decades. And in fact, some of the great grandfathers and grandmothers of medicine wrote about how, while these were folks who we still have organs and lymph nodes named after them, but they argued that that the biggest, most important work happened at a collective level. That happens in policy, and it happens in the structures of communities. It happens at the level of municipal government. I think about Rudolf Virchow, who was digging latrines and opening orphanages, and he's known as the father of modern pathology. We have a Virchow's node and a Virchow's triad.
Really?
And he was saying, hey, we've got to do these things that are outside of the biomedical if we really want to see communities thrive. My own experience seeing patients was that frequently I was writing a prescription, I was making a diagnosis, writing a prescription, realizing this will do some good if you're able to take the medication as prescribed and follow through on the treatment plan, but it doesn't change the circumstances that led to the condition in the first place. Right. And so we have been thinking for quite some time now, over 10 years, actually beyond that, probably closer to 15 years, about what the public health literature calls social determinants of health. determinants of health. And how can we help bridge individuals to community programs that already exist, and when there aren't community programs that we can help our patients get access to, how can we create opportunities to learn or to experience receiving those services within our own facilities or at one of our 13 sites. The teaching kitchen is a really fun example of that, because we wanted it to be front and center. When you
it's
walk
right
into our
there.
building, you see
It's
it when you come
beautiful, too.
in.
I'd love to cook in that kitchen anytime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was the hope. I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
you say that, because we want folks for it to be a focal point, because nutrition is so critical. And so we have group classes for pre-diabetics and diabetics, where we'll have a physician and a chef and staff who are there to support patients. And we actually talk about, why are we using these foods as opposed to other foods, and what it does metabolically, and how it helps control weight or diabetes. And of course, right around the corner, we have our wellness center, our fitness facility, where we have, through a collaboration with Baylor University, we've got opportunity to tailor physical fitness to the needs of individuals. So if you have bad arthritis of your knees, or if you've had an amputation, or if you have heart failure or chronic lung disease, we can tailor physical activity, exercise regimens to those individuals, so that they can learn how to stay healthy, despite some physical challenges that they may face.
You mentioned the collaboration with Baylor. Are there other groups that Waco Family Medicine regularly collaborates with?
Yeah, one of the things that I really enjoy describing is our medical legal partnership with Greater Waco Legal Services. So I admire Kent Keever deeply. Anyone who has a theology degree, a graduate degree from Princeton, and who went to Vanderbilt Law, and who is now in our community caring for people who are economically challenged, is a hero. So at Greater Waco Legal Services, nonprofit law firm, we've collaborated with them so that when our clinicians are recognizing that there is a health harming legal need, they can write a prescription for a consultation with Greater Waco Legal Services, and then Jessica Trevino is in our community resource marketplace. So she's there in our central campus, our building, and patients can go down and sit down and have a conversation with an attorney to come up with solutions on how do I navigate, landlord-tenant issues or domestic violence issues, or a whole array of other things, custodial problems. So there are a number of issues that can impact our patients adversely, and of course, if you're not someone who has had a lot of experience in the, if you don't have friends who are attorneys, or haven't done a lot of work in the legal space, it feels incredibly terrifying to try to tackle some of these unwieldy issues.
I can just imagine what a relief. A burden is lifted if you feel like, well, at least somebody hears me and can help me. I mean, that's got to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're very proud of that collaboration, as well as, we have numerous others that we're engaged with across the communities.
Yeah. Is this something new with the legal?
Maybe 10 years in its first iteration, kind of its more kind of primitive version before the pieces ironed out, maybe about 10 years ago. So it's been around a while.
Yeah. And we're talking about the residency program. What do you think makes, and it's always highly acclaimed, the one at Waco Family Medicine. What do you think makes it unique for your aspiring doctor, your doctors in training?
I think there are numerous factors. One is we've been at it for a long time. We were the first family medicine training program to be established in the United States west of the Mississippi River. So there were a few in the Northeast that had been established, but we were one of the first to establish a training program in family medicine. And so we've been at it a long time. We've got just tremendous faculty. We've got thought leaders that are recognized nationally for their work in research and mental health and array of primary care areas. And so we're really proud of the academic family doctors that teach our residents. We also, because of the great collaborations with the two hospitals, our residents have just amazing experiences in the inpatient setting. So they care for patients across the whole array of hospital services and learn a great deal from both of those institutions. But we don't have other residents in our community, which means that our residents get a lot of the focus of the physician community. So the physicians are all kind of wired as teachers. I mean, doctor, as you know, is a linguistically, came from the word to teach, and so doctors are all sort of wired to teach. So they get a lot of attention from the physicians in our community. They also have they're not competing with other residents for great cases. So if you're in the medical center in Houston, or if you're in Dallas in an academic center, you're always kind of competing with other residents to have the experiences, to learn what you need to learn, to engage the patient, the one who's very, very challenging, has got a lot of things going on. But in Waco, our residents get just magnificent experiences there. And then I think being based in a community health center is unique. We were actually a model. Now there's a whole, there's federal funding that exists for this model. There are a number of other health centers that are that host primary care training programs, but we were one of the first to have a family medicine training program within a community health center or an FQHC, a federally qualified health center. And that gives residents this experience to care for patients who are in greatest need, have continuity relationships, so develop relationships over 3 years, knowing the patients and their families in a kind of continuity fashion, and that draws a lot of residents as well. It's a great experience.
Well, I feel like we just barely scratched the surface. So many more questions I wanted to ask you. So we're not going to let it go another, 3 or 4 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely want to have you come back, because I want to know, what is it you want the community to know and understand? Okay, 30 seconds. What is it you want everybody to understand about Waco Family Medicine and what makes you tick?
Oh goodness. Well, we're truly in it for the entire community, and we care deeply about every voice, every person, and we really want to give them our best. We talk regularly about every individual being worth our best. We are facing serious headwinds right now. There are policy headwinds that are making this work, both in Texas and nationally, very, very hard to do this work in. Just because of lack of public support for this work. And I don't mean community support, I mean public dollars going to healthcare for those in poverty. So we need continued partnership. This building was a testament to how generous our community is, how much our community is in it with us. And we hope that our community will continue to walk this challenging path with us as state and federal dollars have really dropped off for this kind of work.
So there are ways folks can help. You have a foundation?
We do, yes, thank you.
How can folks help you out?
Well, there is a donate button on our website.
Right.
So Waco Family Medicine, of course, we have a foundation. So Doug McDurham, Alfred Solano, Josh Carney are officers at that organization. Tom Stanton is super involved. Continues to be such a giant in fundraising. So any of those individuals, of course, reach out to us on email, and however you can get in touch with us. Drop by. I'd love to give you a tour.
Oh, you should definitely take him up on that, because it is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann. What an honor.
Stay with us. There's more of the show ahead, and I will tell you today's episode is being brought to you by Gather & Co., where they are transforming houses into homes. Don't go away. Stay with us. When we come back, we will hear from the co-founders of Silent House Theater about an upcoming Halloween immersive experience, The House of Frankenstein. Don't go away.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
Waco Restaurant Week is coming to us this week. Starting October 24th and running through November 1st, you can enjoy exclusive menu specials, pop-up events, and creative dining experiences at participating Waco restaurants. This week brings the community together through eating, drinking, and being merry, so check out the long list of businesses partnered with Waco Restaurant Week throughout our city. Waco Health District is hosting a scenic walk through the Waco wetlands as part of the Bloom and Grow pop-up event program this week. Join them for a free walk on October 23rd starting at 6 p.m. where you can explore local wildlife, connect with the community, and discover the unique ecosystems in our own backyard. This event is also fully in support of Healthy Women and Children Coalition. Finally, Baylor University's homecoming is next week from October 27th through November 1st. There will be a whole week of campus activities that will culminate in the football game against the UFC Knights on Saturday, November 1st. I'm Elizabeth Riley with your Act Locally Waco News, and I'll see you next time.
Welcome back to the show. We're going to be talking theater, terror, thrills, chills. But first, I want to tell you today's show is brought to you by Fox & Co. Bakery, where we bake foxy things. Okay, Silent House Theater. That's what we're going to talk about. They've made a name for themselves with bold, immersive productions, draw audiences right into the story. And this Halloween season, they're doing that very thing with House of Frankenstein. There should be Thunderbolt, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. It's a brand new live theater experience, and it's starting just in about a week.
Yes.
the 27th through the 31st. And I'm so happy to have the co-founders of Silent House Theater, Colin Selman and Bradyn Braziel. And y'all both were on the podcast a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Several years ago now, after
Yes.
you had kind of founded. So it's lovely to get to kind of catch up with you.
Yeah, we're so glad to be here. Thank
And
you.
our regular Erik Swanson, who is with he is, of course, Executive Director of Historic Waco Foundation. And so first of all, how does HWF figure into this theatrical experience?
So there is a fantastic historic house museum in Austin,
Uh-huh.
on the Neil Cochran House. And
I've heard of that.
And I went there, and they gave me their annual report, and on the cover was someone doing ballet. And I thought to
Yeah.
myself, I want to do theater or something cool in my houses. And the Silent House folks, they actually approached me, and I jumped on the opportunity to try to bring them into my houses.
Well, it's wonderful that you're incorporating so much more programming with the HWF houses that we have, as the Neil Cochran does in Austin. Please go and visit it if you're ever in the city. But it's really neat to have like a dramatic thing happen. And how much more dramatic is Frankenstein? Really?
Right. Yeah, and this is our third show with Historic Waco. So we're looking to go bigger and better this time. So even more dramatic than the past ones.
Okay, and so this is going to be at McCaw.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
Which you can see right outside our window here in the Alico. Beautiful house.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit of the story. But is it haunted?
So out of all the houses, we don't like to say the houses are haunted, but out of all the repairmen that come to our houses, people have the most stories about McCullough.
Oh, okay.
I have not been lucky enough to see or hear anything, but that's just what I hear.
That doesn't mean it's not.
It's true.
We
It's true.
have experienced
Yes.
a few things since
Okay.
since
Okay.
rehearsing in the house. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get right to it then. So tell me, how is this, first of all, an immersive experience?
You want me to answer?
Sure.
Okay.
You're the star.
I am the star. I'm the lead in this show.
Okay,
So
all
I am
right.
playing Mary Shelley in House of Frankenstein. It will be an immersive experience because we are telling the story of when Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. So it's a mix of the real story of Frankenstein and Mary Shelley's writing of it.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary Shelley wrote this story in a villa in Switzerland with a lot of other really poignant writers of the time, like Lord Byron and Percy Shelley. They were all there. So we were essentially pretending like the McCullough house is that home, that villa in Switzerland. So that's the way it's going to really immerse people in the story. There's going to be actors coming in from different rooms. Audience members will go upstairs and see scenes upstairs, downstairs, on the porch, everywhere.
Oh, how creative. I mean, that's how you've done the productions in the past?
Right.
In the houses?
The first one we did was at the East Terrace house.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
And-
beautiful home.
Right.
Yeah.
And we did House of Dracula. And
Well,
that
there you
was
go.
Yes.
that was last Halloween. And that was sort of the guinea pig experience. And Jamie Koblenz, who wrote House of Dracula, is also writing House of Frankenstein.
Okay.
And she directed House of Dracula. And so we used the whole house for that show.
Mhm.
And all of the different rooms. We didn't have to move too much because it's dressed so appropriately already.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
But that's sort of the goal with this house as well. Is have you been inside the McCullough house?
Oh, yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you fully recall, but when you first walk in, there's two like big rooms,
Mhm, yeah.
and that's sort of where the majority of our show is going to take place because we're almost building it as if it's a traditional proscenium style show because House of Dracula ran about 45 minutes. It was a shorter show and we did 2 shows a night. This one we're going full length like proscenium normal like theater style show in the house and then also traveling to other rooms here and there.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a longer, more gritty experience.
Gritty. All right.
Yeah.
You got, let's play off that. What do you mean?
Well, I think the best way to answer that is sort of upper class people living in a villa writing stories isn't necessarily scary. And so the
Unless you count the amount of affairs they were
yes,
having.
the affairs.
That's
and
pretty scary.
Yeah.
it's almost like a mixture of like Pride and Prejudice and
Oh.
an old horror movie right now. And
Oh.
so what we're doing is the actors that are playing Lord Byron, Percy, Mary are doubled as characters from the actual story of Frankenstein.
I gotcha.
Cool.
Yes.
Very
So
Okay.
like one of them plays Frankenstein, the creature, one of them plays
yeah.
Victor Frankenstein. She plays Elizabeth, who's Victor's wife.
Yeah.
And so the grit and unpredictability comes from not quite understanding which world you're in as an
Yeah.
audience member. And
You get sucked
Oh.
into Mary's imagination as she's writing it, and it starts to take over because she can't even control it. Now characters are popping in when they shouldn't. It's all over the place because her mind she's losing her mind.
and you never know when the creature's going to show up.
Yeah. Yep.
So are you having to do much to transform the space for your show?
More than in the past,
Okay.
but not only because we're setting a higher standard for this one. We want it to every time we do a new show, we want it to be better. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I'm making an intention to make it a little bit more technical than last, so like more cool lighting and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but not I mean the house is already beautiful.
Yes.
So
Oh, yeah.
you don't
And
have to do much.
I would say it actually has made us more creative because the house, like we're given specific things because it's a house. And so then our blocking, our staging lends itself to the house. And there's interesting things that wouldn't have happened if it was just in a regular theater.
Yeah.
The big thing that's had to change is that there's one of the bedrooms we're using upstairs is filled with baby things. There's
It's like a nursery.
right. And there's no baby in
Okay.
our story. So that's been a bit tricky. But
Yeah, I was going to ask you about artifacts and furnishings and all those kinds of things. How are you protecting them?
So really, it's kind of been a good lesson in what are things that have been accessioned and what art accessories. So basically, what
Yeah.
are actual museum objects in our collection
Right.
versus what are things that people had just bought and it's just in the house. And that's kind of the charm of historic house museums, is that not everything is always authentic.
Right.
So it's a lot of digging, like what is the provenance behind this trunk? Can we open it? Can we use
Right.
it?
Right.
There's a lot of me going through records and figuring out little mysteries like that.
And our rule of thumb has been no one is allowed to touch or sit on anything
Unless we
until
ask.
we ask Eric.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I should say that. Yeah, that's a good rule to follow always. So what's been maybe the most exciting or challenging part of creating this theater experience in a historic home?
Well, I'd say with any new work, you know, having not it never having been produced, you have things that
Everything
you
is new. Yeah.
yeah, you have to change as you go. And it's, I mean, 2 days ago we rewrote an entire scene.
Right.
And
Yeah,
to
well,
just
it's
to
live theater.
itself, honestly, so there's something that Sanford Meisner, who's an old acting teacher, who is like, I mean, he's taught everywhere, the Meisner technique. There's something called the reality of doing. And what that means is basically that as an actor, regardless of you know, say you're drinking out of a cup of water, and say you don't have a cup, but you have to act like you're, you know, drinking a cup of water.
Sure.
The idea is that regardless of where you are, you have to believe as if you are actually doing this act. And so it not being on a stage and not having to build a set because especially with live theater, you know, budget and stuff, you can't always make it perfect. But with a house, they're actually
We're
there.
in a home. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you know, so the reality of doing is pretty literal.
Right.
So it does make it a little easier. It's, you know, last
Yeah.
night we were doing a scene in the main room, and they were all in costume and the lighting was dim, and it was just like
It felt like a
it was
house,
just, it was
a house
perfect
party. Yeah.
because you're not putting anything on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and so what is it? The suspension of disbelief
Right.
that the
Slow,
that the
yeah.
audience you know has to. That's okay. Oh, you see some things. Well, that's not very realistic or
Right.
whatever. But you're a leg up
Yes.
by
And we're
having
using
it in this setting.
right. We're using real doors. We're
Yeah,
using
yeah.
real stuff. Like it feels very real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that is so cool. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to hear some more just about the background of Silent House Theater and how these last several years have been since you found it, and more from Erik about how this is all partnering and benefiting the Historic Waco Foundation. So you stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
Serving Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
And welcome back. We are talking about Silent House Theater and their wonderful new show that is going to be starting on the 27th through the 31st at McCullough House, which is a historic Waco Foundation home. It is going to be transformed into the House of Frankenstein. And so we've got Erik. Tell me how this is all working with Historic Waco Foundation. Is this working out to be a benefit for HWF, or are you just providing the house, or what?
No, it's absolutely a benefit. When I was initially hired for the job, and this is a secret, I initially didn't want the job because I thought the historic house museums are really hard to interpret. And so I remember, because they're kind of snapshots in time.
Yeah.
And typically you have one tour and that's kind of it.
Right.
And
And getting people to come back repeatedly
Exactly.
Right.
is right. Oh, I've seen that house.
It can be challenging. Exactly. Yeah. But so I asked the Historic Waco board if they'd be comfortable if I tried to bring in different kind of parties and events and activities and organizations. And they were all on board. And really, a previous director told me that he really wanted Historic Waco to step off the porch and really be embraced by the community. So the opportunity to partner with a local theater company it's two people come back to more shows, kind of murder mysteries, whatever else we're having, or maybe even just tours.
Yeah, and you've had quite a few things recently.
Yes.
There in the houses. So, and past this, can we look ahead? What's happening coming up?
So really the big thing past this, and actually it's going to be pretty soon, it's the Deaths and Legends event, which is also going to be at the McCall House. So we're kind of working around that. And then in early spring, we're doing something entirely unrelated. It's a food tour from the Castillo family who own La Fiesta. And so it's really talking about their history throughout Waco, and it's going to be told through the medium of food, which is always a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
That works for just about everybody.
Yes.
Well, I want to hear, when you first co-founded Silent House Theater, let's go back to those days and just kind of catch everybody up on where your theater company is.
Yeah, we started back in 2021. We had no business doing a show. We absolutely none. We grew up doing the Waco Children's Theater together, so that's how we know each other. And but we don't really have any formal training, but we just wanted to perform. There was nothing else to do in 2020, and so we decided to put up a play, and we put up A Streetcar Named Desire in our living room. Until we finally were able to move into the Jubilee Theater at Mission Waco. But before then, we were in our living room because nothing else was open. So we started then, and we performed in 2021, and people really liked it. They just enjoyed it. They liked the darker, edgier theater that we were doing. Also, we were fresh faces. We weren't performing anywhere else, and so I think people enjoyed that as well. And then we just kept going. So we incorporated, and then we've done, I think this is like our 26th show.
Really?
And they've just gotten bigger and better. And I mean, Colin is a phenomenal performer, but he is a phenomenal director as well. And he has really found his niche and his thing. And we've created this team of people that just are good. And it's right here in Waco. People don't expect it, I think.
Yeah. You mentioned your playwright. Is this person local as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Part of your team?
Yes.
Yes. Well, tell me a little bit more about Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie moved here. Do you remember?
Like 3 years ago?
3 years ago?
Maybe.
Yeah, Jamie moved here from LA, and she was helping out at the Waco Civic Theater just because she's done theater her whole life, and we crossed paths on, I think it was Company. We were performing the musical Company at the Civic, and she helped with some stuff backstage, and we just gelled very well. And the next show that we were doing was a musical called Heathers that I was directing, and I asked Jamie to stage manage it, and she was phenomenal at that. And then it sort of just segued into all these different roles, and she's like, well, I'm an actress too, and so she's acted in shows, and
she's costumed so many of them,
directed, and then I can't remember exactly how the idea came about. She's always writing, and as Bradyn said, we sort of have a core group, and Jamie told us that she was writing a show for the core members of our group, and it's not applicable to any of the house shows that we've done, but yet. But we got the idea to do a show in a house, and I can't remember all the ins and outs of it, but she wanted to write a version of Dracula, and we met with Erik and we were like, hey, what if we put this in a house? So then she wrote it for the house, and it was such a cool thing to do, and especially in Waco, because I don't think anyone's done anything like that here.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, and so then we were like, well, we should make this a yearly thing. And so now Jamie's just writing a show a year.
We're really intrigued by house shows because New York has something called Sleep No More, which is essentially the story of Macbeth inside a house. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure type of show. You walk in, it's massive, it's much bigger. It's like a hotel type house. It's gigantic. Huge, you choose your own adventure. So a person could pull you and you could have an entirely different experience in the house than someone else does. And at the end of the show, you're like, oh, yeah, I was in this room eating with Lady Macbeth. Where were you? And they're like, oh, I was at a ball. Like, you have a different version.
Oh my goodness.
So we really liked the idea of doing house shows. And so when we met with him, we had on the docket to do a completely different house show and Dracula. And then Colin was like, wait a minute, let's combine them. Like, let's do it all at one place. And so, which was brilliant. And it turned out wonderful.
That's awesome. Another thing you do is you have classes, you teach acting and
Yes.
so forth. Tell me about that.
Mainly Bradyn.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yes, I teach. Private acting lessons. I teach at the Performing Arts Community Center over there. I teach.
Yeah, that's a wonderful
Yes.
facility now.
Oh yeah, we're super grateful for the pack.
Yeah.
So I teach littles for 4 years old to about 12 years old on different days of the week, and then I teach private acting lessons. My oldest student is 55, so I teach all ages.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Well, you guys are proof positive of what children's theater, how important it is.
Yeah.
And how it just kind of gets in your blood.
Oh my God.
I think it's one of the most important things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's where we met all of our people, all of our
Yes.
best friends.
Yeah.
It's how we became confident, I think.
And we kind of function a specific way. Like, people will say, they're like, oh, you're Linda Haskett's kids. Like, they can just tell.
Can they tell? That's
yeah,
funny.
we rehearse a lot and we're a little crazy. We talked to her a few days ago.
How's she doing?
She's good.
Good,
She's good. I
good.
mean, she just did a show last summer, still doing shows. But yeah, it was wonderful. We had one of the founding members of the Children's Theater passed away, and we had his funeral this summer, and we went up and talked, and we just talked about, we were like, we're doing it still. The legacy is continuing. So we're so blessed to be in Waco doing that.
Oh, well, and that's so important. So, again, how can you get tickets? And what are the prices of the tickets?
Yeah, so everything is available on silenthousetheater.com, and we
Okay.
have 2 ticket types. There's the general admission, which is $25 for the whole night, whole experience, and then we have a VIP ticket that I believe is priced at $40, and you get a green drink, which is just a cocktail. I can't quite remember what's in it.
Grasshopper? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
Frankenstein.
Oh, it's a
And-
Frankenstein drink.
Yeah, priority seating and interaction with the actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
So, what time is the show? When
It'll-
does it start?
it'll start at 7:30.
7:30. Okay. And again, you're doing several nights of it, starting on the 27th through the 31st. Do you you remember all this? Do you have any matinee? You're not doing matinees.
No matinees. No.
Because we need dark.
We
You
need
need
some
the dark.
darkness for
Yes.
this one.
Yep.
There's lots of windows in the house.
Yes,
so
there are.
Yes.
I guess it would be a little problematic.
Yes, definitely.
Not quite as scary.
Right. Not nearly as scary.
Okay, and I presume if someone just wants to make a donation to Historic Waco Foundation, you would certainly take that, right, Erik?
We will not say no. It takes a lot to maintain the houses. We love that people are
Yeah.
using them. It gives us an excuse to actually maintain them, because otherwise the houses just sit there. So this is such a great opportunity for us to showcase the houses in a different way and work with really great partners.
Yeah, well, it is a beautiful house, and it's not one of the main ones most people think about. You know,
Yeah.
East Terrace,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
is always, and of course Earl Harrison. Everybody knows these houses, but I'm hats off to Historic Waco Foundation. From personal knowledge of how expensive it is to maintain a historic home, i.e., the Neil Cochran house that you mentioned, but Historic Waco has been able to do multiple houses, and it's just an amazing testament, I think, to how people here locally want to preserve that history,
Yeah. Yeah.
these beautiful homes, and enjoy them, which is what House of Frankenstein will be. So, anyway, again, on your website, can you get tickets, or is it all strictly?
We'll link tickets on our website too.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So go to HWF or Silent House Theater, and so wonderful to have you all with us
Yes.
today.
Thank you for
very
having
much.
us.
A big thank you to our sponsor, Fox & Co. Bakery. Check them out for delicious baked goods and your catering needs.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.